Hafez. Khwaja Shams ad-Din Muhammad Hafez-e Shirazi, known by his pen name Hafez and as Hafiz, was a Persian lyric poet, whose collected works are regarded by many Iranians as a pinnacle of Persian literature. His works are often found in the homes of people in the Persian-speaking world, who learn his poems by heart and use them as everyday proverbs and sayings. His life and poems have become the subjects of much analysis, commentary and interpretation, influencing post-14th century Persian writing more than any other Persian author. Hafez is best known for his Divan of Hafez, a collection of his surviving poems probably compiled after his death. His works can be described as antinomian and with the medieval use of the term theosophical. The term theosophy in the 13th and 14th centuries was used to indicate mystical work by authors only inspired by the holy books, as distinguished from theology. Hafez primarily wrote in the literary genre of lyric poetry or ghazals, that is the ideal style for expressing the ecstasy of divine inspiration in the mystical form of love poems. He was a Sufi. Themes of his ghazals include the beloved, faith and exposing hypocrisy. In his ghazals he deals with love, wine and taverns, all presenting ecstasy and freedom from restraint, whether in actual worldly release or in the voice of the lover speaking of divine love. His influence on Persian speakers appears in divination by his poems and in the frequent use of his poems in Persian traditional music, visual art and Persian calligraphy. His tomb is located in his birthplace of Shiraz. Adaptations, imitations and translations of his poems exist in all major languages. Hafez was born in Shiraz, Iran. Few details of his life are known. Accounts of his early life rely upon traditional anecdotes. Early tazkiras, biographical sketches, mentioning Hafez are generally considered unreliable. At an early age, he memorized the Quran and was given the title of Hafez, which he later used as his pen name. The preface of his Divan, in which his early life is discussed, was written by an unknown contemporary whose name may have been Muhammad Golandan. Two of the most highly regarded modern editions of Hafez's Divan are compiled by Muhammad Ghazvini and Ghassem Ghani, 495 ghazals, and by Parviz Natel Khan Lari, 486 ghazals. Hafez was a Sufi Muslim. Modern scholars generally agree that he was born either in 1315 or 1317. According to an account by Jamie, Hafez died in 1390. Hafez was supported by patronage from several successive local regimes, Shah Abu Ishaq, who came to power while Hafez was in his teens, Timur at the end of his life, and even the strict ruler Shah Mubaraz ud-Din Muhammad, Mubaraz Muzaffar. Though his work flourished most under the 27-year rule of Jalal ud-Din Shah Shuja, it is claimed Hafez briefly fell out of favor with Shah Shuja for mocking inferior poets. Shah Shuja wrote poetry himself and may have taken the comments personally, forcing Hafez to flee from Shiraz to Isfahan and Yazd, but no historical evidence is available. Hafez also exchanged letters and poetry with Ghiyas ud-Din Azam Shah, the Sultan of Bengal, who invited him to Sonargan though he could not make it. 20 years after his death, a tomb, the Hafeziyeh, was erected to honor Hafez in the Musalla Gardens in Shiraz. The current mausoleum was designed by André Goddard, a French archaeologist and architect, in the late 1930s, and the tomb is raised up on a dais amidst rose gardens, water channels, and orange trees. Inside, Hafez's alabaster sarcophagus bears the inscription of two of his poems. Legends. Many semi-miraculous mythical tales were woven around Hafez after his death. It is said that by listening to his father's recitations, Hafez had accomplished the task of learning the Quran by heart at an early age, that is the meaning of the word Hafez. At the same time, he is said to have known by heart the works of Rumi, Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Baqi, Sadi, Farid ud-Din, and Nizami. According to one tradition, before meeting his self-chosen Sufi master Haji Zain al-Attar, Hafez had been working in a bakery, delivering bread to a wealthy quarter of the town. There, he first saw Sheikh-e-Nabat, a woman of great beauty, to whom some of his poems are addressed. Ravished by her beauty but knowing that his love for her would not be requited, he allegedly held his first mystic vigil in his desire to realize this union. Still, he encountered a being of surpassing beauty who identified himself as an angel, and his further attempts at union became mystic, a pursuit of spiritual union with the divine. A Western parallel is that of Dante and Beatrice. At 60, he is said to have begun a Chila Nashini, a 40-day and night vigil by sitting in a circle that he had drawn for himself. On the 40th day, he once again met with Zain al-Attar on what is known to be their 40th anniversary and was offered a cup of wine. It was there where he is said to have attained cosmic consciousness. He hints at this episode in one of his verses in which he advises the reader to attain clarity of wine by letting it sit for 40 days.